May the Lord bless and keep you. I now want to invite the leader communication team to come here and share with us some tips on communication. Thank you.
Happy Sabbath. Happy day. We can do better. Happy Sabbath. Happy day. It's brilliant to see you in the house of the Lord. As you've had today's communication Sabbath, my name is Nyantiono. I'll just share with you a few tips, communication tips, which we felt as a department are very, very important, especially around this time when the nation is experiencing flash floods and related tragedies. How should you behave? We want, as church members, to have some tips, communication tips that you need to have so that you either save a life or your life is saved. So in the next 10 minutes or less, I will focus on communication tips during a crisis. What is a disaster? What is a crisis? Very quickly, a disaster is something that causes serious disruption. Serious disruption. You can't function optimum. You can't operate as a community or even as a family. That is a disaster. And you are not able to meet your obligations or do your daily chores. That will be an element of a disaster. And we have types of disasters. We have natural disasters. The floods we are focusing on, brethren, are natural disaster. Earthquakes, hurricanes, ice storms. You heard the country is expecting a storm from yesterday to today, Hurricane Hidayah. That is a natural disaster. We also have man-made disasters like war, there's terrorism, there's crime, and there's civil disorder, and many, many others. Those are man-made disasters. And in the current dispensation, we also have what we call technological disasters. Something like cyber attacks can be a technological disaster. Dam failure, like what we saw in Maimahi the other day, where there's uncontrollable release of water. That can be a technological disaster because that dam was designed by somebody. And many, many others. Airplane crash, that is a technological disaster. So, why is communication important? It helps you plan better and respond appropriately. Because if you don't communicate during a disaster, you are likely to be hit hard, and you may not even save someone else's life. So it saves lives, both your life and someone else's life. It minimizes damage, ladies and gentlemen. So it's important to know how to communicate during disaster. So on behalf of the communication department, I just want to share 10 tips, just 10. And this presentation is available for all church members, and you can share with friends and family. Number one, please follow news updates. This is the time you don't want to miss news. If you're not a news person, please from now, especially presently, know what's going on in the news. So tune in and focus and see. There could be something terrible happening just around your estate and you're not aware. So when you follow news, it gives you that early warning system that something is happening. This could be television, radio, and any other updates. It's very, very important. I know there are people who say, I don't watch news. This is not the time to say that. Please follow news. And if possible, with the internet now, you can register with what we call news alerts, which can give you alerts on your phone so that you can know that tomorrow at 6 or tomorrow at 10, something is happening so that you organize yourself. Number two, check social media alert, follow your WhatsApp walls, various walls. Just see what's happening there. Because sometimes you might find that what you're experiencing was actually posted yesterday by somebody. It helps you plan better. So please follow the social media, pour through and see what's happening on the internet so that you can save a life or even your life and your family. Number 3. Okay, before I go to number 3, there's some element of caution in social media. Please verify the information on social media first before sharing. I'm going to talk about this. It's a serious problem we have in the modern setup where people share information that is 5 years old. You end up causing panic at the same time. So please verify if it's true before you share with friends and family. Number 3, this is very important, brethren. Please call your family and your friends and find out how they are doing. Please do that. Even here in church today, you can see the church is not as full as it is usually. If there's a friend who you have not seen this morning, please call them. That's our communication tip. Find out how they are doing. There are family members affected somewhere, Nakuru, everywhere, Mombasa. Find out how they are doing. It's good practice. And it's also being good Christian to find out how your brother, your sister is doing. Be your brother's keeper around this time. If a certain area is hit by a disaster and you know family members or friends who reside there, show concern and compassion by calling them. Number 4, have emergency contacts. Have emergency contacts. Sometimes we take this for granted, but check on your phone if you have a number for Red Cross. Do you have a number for ambulance? Do you have a number for the nearest police station or the OCPD, whoever it is? This is very, very important because you don't know when you will need them. So that's a very basic communication skill that you need to have. Even local journalists, there are people who report around your area. Journalists are very, very informed. They know what goes on where, they are following on alert and everything else. They can easily save your life. So have these numbers with you and always call them when need be. Number 5, like I said, avoid sharing unverified photos or videos. Please avoid. If you have not verified, don't. We use the principle of trust but verify. Trust but verify. So don't just share, you cause panic. When you're sure, then you can share. Because sharing unverified information is actually unprofessional and it's also unethical. And you can see how many of us do. Kenyans are very notorious in this. Before they know something, they are already forwarded. Before you even finish reading the statement and see that it was 2018, you are already forwarded on your family WhatsApp wall. You'll cause panic. So we need to, have that kind of restraint when doing some of these things. Avoid sharing offensive photos and videos. Avoid that completely because you will cause panic, like I've already said. You've seen people sharing images of dead bodies, which is completely unethical. There are people who share persons bleeding in an accident setup, in a disaster setup. They are sharing these photos and images. It's very, very unfair. Please don't do that. Children, please don't post images of children. It's illegal, even in the laws of the land. Don't do that. Persons who are grieving, don't share that. Unless there's a rider. There's a rider. If you have to share this, please know that you are sharing to save a life. Because there's special circumstances where you might have to share to save a life. But you don't have to do it mass on every other wall. Share with the people with the responsibility to save that kind of life. That is a good communication tip. Number 7, brethren, your cell phone. Your cell phone can save your life. This gadget here, it can save your life. Ensure it is fully charged at all times. If you have a power bank, please carry that power bank. Because you can be marooned in a disaster and you need to communicate and say, I am hit by a disaster, I need help. Because people need to know where you are. Because when a cell phone is on, it's even easier to locate where you are. So that's very, very important to have your cell phone charged at all times. The other, number 8, make your whereabouts known. Please, let people who are close to you know where you are. Say, I'm leaving town right now, so they'll know that in 30 minutes, 1 hour, you should be home. So if you are not home within that 30 minutes, they'll start wondering what is happening. So there are people who don't like revealing their location or where you are. Please do. It's a good communication habit. It can save your life. It can save your family's life as well. Because sharing your itinerary will facilitate quick action so that people can know where you are and what you are undergoing so that they are able to save your life. Number 9, as I finish, please share hope and encouragement. Be that kind of person who shows compassion on family walls, on WhatsApp walls for your workplace. Don't be that kind of person who shares grief and you're always alarmist. That is not a good communication skill. So always do that as a Christian. Share messages of hope and encouragement. Pray with your family members. Send messages that will encourage them to face another day in the face of a disaster. Prayers, if possible, do visitations to the people who have been affected. Find out how they are doing so that you can also pray with them and encourage them. The last one, ladies and gentlemen, empower your family and friends with this information. If you are the father of the homestead and you know all these 10 tips, please make sure that your family knows the 10 tips also. Your children need to know these tips because you never know who will be in a disaster setting. It may be you know all the tips, but your child doesn't know. Your wife doesn't know. So let them know so that we are empowered as a family and as a community so that we can save a life. Ladies and gentlemen, brethren, there is a verse that I want to finish with. Proverbs 17, verse 27. And this is what it says. The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint. So let us know how to use words. Let us know how to communicate responsibly. And whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Understand what people are going through. Understand the disaster around us. And please, let us be agents of hope. Let us not be agents of despair. So from now going forward, the new lifers and those of us watching us online, let us be good communicators in the event of a disaster like the one that the country and other countries are facing. Let's save a life. Let's communicate responsibly. Thank you very much, and may the Lord bless you abundantly. Asante.